Join me, and together we will unravel the mysteries of the world during Dr. X's Half Hour of Power.
We know so very little about this strange planet we live on, this haunted world where all answers lead only to more mystery. That's the author Edward Abbey, and I'm Dr. X, and this is Dr. X's Half Hour of Power. And boy, do we have a special guest. The Neon Lord himself is in the house, as they say. Brian Shutter of Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland shares with us a different role this evening than what you might know him normally as. Brian, we thank you for being here tonight and sharing your tales from the deserts of Afghanistan. Neon Lord, if I may call you as such, tell us,
of course, Doctor,
what you experienced.
Well, thanks for the. Can you hear me, Doctor? Am I coming in? Am I coming in clear?
The voice of an angel.
Okay, excellent. So, well, it's good to be here. It's exciting to be on this great show. I'm a huge fan, first of all.
Oh, right back at you, pal.
So, it was like deployment on 2018, 2019 in Afghanistan. We were stationed on Afghan National Army Air Base, which was surrounded by Afghan National Police. So we were like cordoned and cordoned. So there's nothing beyond like our fences, right? Like we're out there in the middle of nowhere. It's completely dark all the time, and strange things always was kind of around there. So the base itself was at one point an Australian base that got bombed, and they called it Zombieland. Was like half the base was just destroyed buildings that they kind of just left. So the whole base, TK Club TK as we called it, Terracotta was the name of it, but had
Terracotta is the proper name of this United States Army base.
Well, it would be a forward operating base, a FOB, if you will.
I stand corrected.
So that's okay. Jargon technicals, it might not even be a FOB, but either way, we'll call it a FOB. So it always had a strange mystery about it. Ouija boards were brought upon it, which is a whole nother story.
I didn't realize that was part of our operations over there.
It wasn't, but someone brought a Ouija board, and it got a little strange in spots. Maybe that could have ushered in, because actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I feel like the alien encounters happened after the Ouija board.
So this is what we're discussing tonight: visitors from afar in the desert of Afghanistan.
Yes. And I mean, I got a couple other eerie things that happened. I could just talk about all the strange things that happened on that deployment, if that's fine with you, Doctor.
The floor is yours, Neon Lord.
Excellent. Yeah. So we pull security on this airfield for like their helicopters, and our supplies get airlifted in and out. But it's usually at night, right? So most flights happen at night. So we get the call and we got to go set up different spots around the airfield to pull 360 security. So there was one spot, gunner, I feel like it was a gunner left or something like that. It was the one nobody wanted to go to because it was, so if everybody was kind of close to the strip and you didn't have to go out that far, that was the farthest one you could go. You were away, you couldn't see anybody else. You couldn't interact with anybody else. You were kind of just out there on your own. And that's the one I always picked. I wanted to go out there.
Deep left field.
Yeah, always, because that's where all the weird stuff happened to me. It was out there. So I was always trying to go out there. Pardon me, I'm getting a little parched. So Yeah, so I mean, every once in a while, you would see just kind of some strange things up in the sky, and like, oh, that could be UFO, that could be UFO. But then they always debunked it on me. Like they would always debunk it. They're like, oh no, because there was a field artillery unit that was with us, and they would shoot flares out, and like the flare would go and had a mini parachute, and it would suspend in the sky, and you could see it, and you could see the trail that was coming down. These never had a trail. They never like slowly, in like a rhythmic, little swing, the flares would go. So you would see like they would kind of stop and then zip off, right? So I'm out there with another fella, and he is a non-believer, as they call him, Doctor.
A skeptic.
Sad, a skeptic, if you will. Yeah, the Scully to my Mulder, right?
Ah, well put.
So, I'm explaining to him all the phenomenon I've been noticing, just little things, nothing crazy, and he doesn't believe me. He doesn't believe me. So we're staring out, pulling security like we're supposed to, and all of the sudden, probably maybe two.
Oh boy, looks like the corporation is tapping in. Let's wait to see if he unpauses. Ah, he's back.
Oh yes, sorry, I don't know what's going on with the internet, but where was I frozen? When did the CIA tap in?
Well, exactly. That's exactly what I said while you were gone. They're listening. You had talked to your skeptic friend and said, "This is what I've seen," and then let's continue from there.
Perfect. So I've explained to him everything that was going on. I was like, oh, I kind of would see this, that, and he, obviously didn't believe me. He's like, oh, there's no such thing as aliens. As we stand there pulling our security, looking out into the desert, about 200 feet in front of us, four lights just drop down and just sit there in a row and like stare at us. And I'm
So
like, see,
from high up.
from high up down low, and about 200 feet, 250 feet off into the desert. And as the four stood in a perfect line, as perfect as Orion's belt, as straight. Maybe Orion's belt's not that straight, but you know what I mean. So, and then, but rather than they just, so they stood there, and then one by one, not even in a row. So the third one zipped off that way.
Ooh,
The second one kind of zigzagged and went that way, and then one went that way and one went that way.
So these lights are moving independently of their own accord,
Yes.
not in basic flight patterns that you would expect from an airplane. And I'm thinking back then, drones weren't very present. Your drone technology was not as prolific as it is now.
So, like deployment drones at that time were huge. They were like maybe
size.
like
You're talking size wise, not popularity.
size wise. Yes, size wise, maybe like I couldn't even tell you how big a good reference. Like they're big though. They're way bigger than you'd expect.
Okay.
Like smaller than like a small plane, but bigger than anything commercial. Right? So if that
Understood.
makes sense. So yeah, so then and it was never like a straight, it was just different zigzag patterns, completely as if they were intelligent upon themselves.
Ah. Okay, so you're in the desert with the skeptic, and what does he say? Pish posh, or is he a changed person?
He is changed, actually. He couldn't explain what he saw, and from that day forth, he was a believer. And then it never happened again in that blatantness, but you would always still see strange movements in the sky at night for sure.
And there's really, correct me if I'm wrong, for I was not there, but no natural light out there. This is not not an area of light pollution. This is not, the deserts of Las Vegas, baby. No, this is way out there in the untouched areas.
Yeah, zero light pollution at all. We're talking, you look out there and it's just pitch black.
Was it your duty as a military man to report any of these strange encounters? What is the protocol for something like this?
So no, we never called any of them up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
maybe should have, but maybe they would have came out.
Now, was this I won't say common experience, but perhaps a shared experience with the other GI Joes you were bunking with?
Yeah, so it was many a few have seen the strange lights of Kandahar as they've come to be known.
Now, Neon Lord, alien or of this earth? What do you feel this was all about?
I think they probably were. I would say Alien, definitely. I feel like maybe the it's like I don't want to be like too low hanging fruit, but if you refer back to the movie Predator, the aliens always kind of converged upon conflict, but maybe not necessarily in that sense of like coming down to like to fight, warriors, finding warriors that they seem fit enough for combat against them, but perhaps like they're drawn to like our conflicts. I can't attest. I've only ever been to Afghanistan twice, and strangely, at the like not the exact same place, but both Kandahar twice. So I've never really seen other theaters of battle, but I could assume that maybe there's other stories of alien encounters out there.
Warrior observing warrior, he says. Now, if we go back, the lights you saw, that four light pattern, independently moving and whatnot, would these, would you, I know it was pitch black and distance could be an issue, but would you consider these large enough to host a pilot?
No, I don't think so. That's the other thing. So I would say they would probably, by my estimation, softball to small dodgeball sized,
So perhaps some sort of surveillance craft, a bivouac scout or something of the sort?
perhaps.
Now, we've shared some chuckles and tears together over the years, and if I think back correctly, in one of our long drives, you had mentioned kind of disembodied cries of Kandahar.
Yep. Also, that was another thing out there on Walker One. I want to say. I'll verify, but I believe it was Walker One or
What
Walker
what what
Two.
would that be for the uninitiated?
That would be the name. Oh no, that was the name of the post that we went to. The
Okay,
far out one, gun two. I don't know. I'll find out. I'll
all
put it
on
in
the
the show
same all
notes.
on the same base.
Yep. So it was how it was arranged. There was closer ones where people would post up to pull the security, and then the farther one, Walker One, I would say I'm pretty confident it was called Walker One, was like the farthest out there. You had to walk the farthest to get to it, and nobody ever wanted to do it, right? Because it was too far. You were too alone and too secluded. But obviously, I wanted to do it. But yeah, out there on Walker One, it faced nothing. Like the city, like the Terran Cot, as it was named after the city itself was called Terrancot too. Was maybe like too far to ever hear anything, like any like noises, because I mean like between us was the Afghan National Army, and then between the Afghan National Army and the actual city was Afghan National Police. So there was base, then another base, then the city. So there was nothing, and then there was always you could always hear like a baby crying somewhere within not that far from our
Oh,
distance, a disembodied voice. But I actually just remembered of a different disembodied voice story from Germany, a ghostly tale, real quick, if you want
from Afghanistan to Germany, we are traveling the world military style with the Neon Lord of the Toxic Wasteland, Brian Shutter.
so
Germany, here we
yeah.
go.
So this is a faster setup. So we were infantry, but part of like a cavalry unit at that point, right? So to help with the Cavs do their cavalry scouting, their reconnaissance, we went out into the woods with a striker, like a up armored vehicle that has gun mounts and stuff on it. that you can like securely hold some troops in the back. So we
Okay.
set it up, and then we were like living in and out of it. And then they would call up on the radio, hey, like they're coming, so go do a patrol, and then let them like observe you, and they'll come back and tell us, like, and then that kind of thing. So out there in the woods, they were done for the night. So we were just kind of set up and kind of just,
Who is
smoking and
they,
joking.
Brian? Who
So
is
I would
they?
say it was me and four other GI Joes, if you will, just smoking and joking out in the woods. Then, then all of a sudden, a blood curdling woman's scream could be heard, and
Within the
then
forest.
within the forest, yeah. So we have night vision capabilities. So then we throw on our night vision goggles, and we saw four silhouettes standing out in the woods. And then I probably never even told you the story, so this is like fresh. This
Chill
is
to the
this
bone. Chill to the
yeah.
bone. I was
So
not ready
there's
for this
like
one.
so there's four silhouettes, and they looked like they had like like helmets on, and like they looked like they were like, so we're like, oh no, they're here, like we didn't get a radio signal, so we're like, oh, okay, so let's do the patrol, I guess, like. And then I was watching the LRAS. It's a long ranged you know monitoring like night vision system, and we're like, yo, like, go walk over there. And he's like, there's like nobody here. Like, I can't hear him. I don't see him or anything. So it's like, okay, so go up. So we guided him because he can't see him. He's not seeing him even with his night vision. And he got right next to him. He was like right in front of him. He's like, I cannot see. There's nobody out here. So
So
it's
you
like,
you
okay,
have the night vision unit. He
yeah,
has individual night vision goggles on.
he
You're
does.
guiding him
Yes,
towards this location, and even though you see the silhouettes,
yes.
he doesn't.
He still didn't. So we're all kind of getting a little freaked out. And so we bring him back. We're kind of all like, oh, it's probably like midnight at that point. So we're kind of just scared, a little scared, not obviously like showing off the emotion, right?
Of course
So
not.
then we tell some stories. Some guys have some good post or pre experiences with the supernatural that we kind of shared some stories and kind of got around and got in our sleep systems and turned the lights out for the night. Well, 3 o'clock in the morning, the radio jumps on
Oh, boy.
with like a massive like static, like it was low, it was so loud that like, and it was like some kind of voice you could hear. I'm not making this up, like I know, like
Brian, I believe you.
no, I know you do, but like, because like of our history though, I've never really told you the story, so like it is actually quite a phenomenal story if you really kind of think about it. So then, yeah, so then all of a sudden the radio just jumps on it, like it was 3 o'clock, and we're like, like my hairs were standing on end, and like my heart was in my throat. I was like terrified of this like burst transmission of static and disembodied voice. And then we were like, okay, this is, we're done with this. Shut it off, right? So we're all kind of just like panicking in the dark with the radio off, and like you can hear like your the beating of your heart, right? So we're
Yes.
just kind of scared. And then the outside of a striker has what we call the moose knuckles. So they're giant iron, like they screw on, and then they're little like a septum, like a bullhorn septum ring, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
goes, there's two on the side that you can latch on anything. They're versatile hanging things. And all of a sudden, somebody took it and banged it 3 times on the side of the
Oh,
striker. And like nobody, we're like, nope, we just like laid there like and just were silent and just like sat there and didn't move, didn't even think, didn't even like, we're just like, I don't know what that is, but we're just literally gonna sit here and not react. And
even
then
with the
so
strongest nation's armored vehicles,
yeah.
the supernatural fear can still permeate.
Yeah. So yeah, so fast forward to the morning, and we we're obviously survived and nothing happened, but then we asked the other, like the scouts were like, hey, like, were you guys out there like messing with us or anything? Like, it was pretty scary. Of course they were like, no, what are you talking about? We like after that last exercise at like 10:30 or whatever, they went to bed. They were all asleep the whole time. So it was, yeah, it was pretty intense.
Ghost stories from the wilderness of Germany.
And yeah, that base was an SS training camp
Oh my.
before we liberated it, and it has a history of some hauntings.
I could only imagine. But I want to go back to what you said. I believe you. If I didn't believe you, I only have people on this show that I trust through and through. Oh, that's incredible. Excellent. We are in the season, the spooky season.
That is true.
This time of year, which one that always gets the blood going? I know you're a connoisseur of the strange, but is there a tale that still chills your bones, Brian Shutter?
Like a fictional one? Or nonfiction?
Let's go with fiction this time.
I mean, nonfiction, anytime you hear the Art Bell, the guy about the aliens calls in, I mean, that could be fiction too, right?
Well, I don't know about that one. There's a lot of things that went on. Mr. Shutter is referring to a famous, or shall I say infamous, phone call to radio host Art Bell of Coast to Coast AM, may he rest in peace, in which, well, Brian, take over.
Yeah, so I don't know which line it was. I don't ever remember, but Art answers the phone, and in a panicked voice, someone from area, like close to Area 51, calls up and has all the information on aliens, and they're not what they're telling us, and there's an attack coming. And just as he's getting the details, our studio like loses power completely, and
fries out, baby, fries out like a potato.
Transmission goes down, and they never hear from him again.
This is a searchable audio clip on the internet, and I highly encourage you to check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. Well, if you're watching the Neon Lord and I right now, you probably are into that stuff, and you'll get a big kick or a chill out of that one. Brian, I'd love to have you on again sometime. As you mentioned the Ouija board, I'd like to hear a little bit more what goes on behind the olive drab curtain, if you will. You are in places of isolation. Yeah. You are in places soaked in violent history. I'd say it's only natural to pick up something, especially if you're a bit sensitive. Would you consider yourself individually a bit sensitive?
Like force attuned, if you will, if you want to use a Star Wars term.
Let's go that way.
I would say my walkie-talkie antennas maybe half up per chance.
Interesting analogy.
Maybe not fully out, but maybe enough to pick up something. But yeah, so the next time I'll do another double feature. We'll do the Ouija board of Zombieland and the ghost child of Saratoga Springs.
My God, these things write themselves, don't they?
Excellent.
Well, Brian, I believe you, and I know our friends at home, they believe you. They have no reason not to. Brian, you're a stand-up gentleman, and we thank you for your service, and I thank you for your time and friendship this evening.
Well, thanks for having me, Doctor. It's been a blast.
It certainly has been a blast, to use a military term. Ha, 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 ha. Well then, folks, that was 1/2 hour of power here on Dr. X's Half Hour of Power. As always, we thank the staff and the studio of WHPA TV 13 Fairhaven. Good night.